7:14.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Jack Clayton. It's always good to have you here.
Thank you for having me back, Dale. It's always a pleasure to see you.
You betcha.
Especially if the Yankees are in first place. I mean, you know, all right with the world. All I have to do is make sure my boat starts, and it's going to be a good day.
But the best record in baseball is with St. Louis. We're in first place, too.
As you know. Well, it's good to see you. It's good to be back. Well, we got some rain yesterday. I got about 6/10 out where I live, and it's awful wet out there. The lake's filling up. Mm-hmm. I can see a little bit of it from where I live, and we have this little marker that we use to try to tell how high the lake is out there, and it's pretty filled up. So people need to be careful this weekend when they get out there, because you never know quite where you are when the lake gets up that high.
And I'll be mowing grass about Christmas. I put out about 100 pounds of fertilizer yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Turf builder from Scott's.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna be. I'm
gonna be greener than Dublin on St. Patrick's Day, for one thing. Let me tell you.
Well, lots of things happening down at Nature's Way. I want to encourage people to get on our website and watch what's happening there, natureswaymountainhome.com. Probably the longest URL of any health food store in a small town in the United States of America, natureswaymountainhome.com. And you'll see our new reset there of the grocery. It's got it up in the pictures on the very front of the website. It's really, really pretty in there now. You should come in and take a look at it. I mean, it's
nice.
It is. We reset the whole grocery side, and we put up some art from Kevin Pieper on the wall along one side there. It's new things you haven't seen before of his fantastic work, and there's just some beautiful art up there. So come on by and take a look at the new side. But you can see it also. You can see part of it on our website. It's a really great picture there. You should know that today is Neighbor's Mill Day.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
Bread is actually showing up at the store as we speak. So you'll have fresh Neighbor's Mill this morning. You know, Neighbor's Mill is a restaurant is a bakery in Harrison and restaurant. A lot of people here know it because you pass right by it when you're going over to Fayetteville, Bentonville, in that area. And they have a wonderful bakery. And Nature's Way has been providing Neighbor's Mill bread for, I guess, 14 or 15 years now.
Wow.
And it's a great service that we worked out with Neighbor's Mill, and we'll bring in fresh bread on Thursday mornings. But we're also now stocking more of their muffins and cinnamon rolls and things like that, the sweet rolls that they have, real high quality products, and they sell out fast. So if you're interested in something, if I'm piquing your interest a little this morning, and you need to get in there, it'll be ready. It'll be ready probably by 8:30 or so for you to pick up. So we open at 8, so you can actually get down there pretty early if you want. But the truth is, there will be people there
parked waiting
when we open, waiting for that bread to show up. So. Anyway, come on in. Also, you should know about them, and I'll just add this in. If you have a favorite from Neighbor's Mill, you should let us know. We can special order any of their products for you specifically, and we'll have it fresh on Thursday morning. They also make their breads into dinner rolls. And around the holidays, we sell a lot of those breads made into dinner rolls for family dinners and such. And if you have a special occasion coming up, you should think about doing that, because they're really a treat to have on the table. Mm-hmm. And today we'll have some hamburger buns for the weekend from Neighbor's Mill. So they'll sell out very quickly, too, today, I'm sure. So if you're interested in any of that, get down there right away.
Think I could find a co-host and I'll just run on down. Y'all just
You want to go down and wait?
I'll stand in line.
I think Duncan's there now, opening the door for the bread as we speak. So you can absolutely go. You can actually
Somebody
absolutely
come
go.
sit here and talk to Jack. I'm going down there to get some bread.
Another thing that we've started also recently at Nature's Way is we are featuring Peace Valley chickens now, fresh.
Ooh.
Now, Peace Valley, if you're not familiar with it, is a natural farm up in Missouri. It's north of West Plains, northeast of West Plains, and folks in Arkansas would drive all the way up there to get fresh chicken, because this family, the Protiva family, is very specific and rigorous in how they handle these birds and all of their livestock at the farm. Completely free range birds. They actually have worked out techniques over the years for moving the entire flock so that they have fresh bugs and insects, which is what they're supposed to be eating, instead of being essentially force fed in the chicken coop. And they move them every day, and any feed that they use is certified non-GMO. And as you know, if you serve genetically modified feed to an animal, it makes the product genetically modified. Then essentially, and we honestly don't know what's going to happen from all of that, but that's a whole nother program. But anyway, folks used to drive up there, or they'd try to meet them in Springfield or a couple other places that they had, set up to meet people with these chickens. They slaughter them on the spot, basically, or the day before. But you had to go to Missouri to get them because, and this is kind of an interesting feature about laws in the United States, you can transport live chickens across the border between Missouri and Arkansas, but you can't transport a dead one unless it's frozen.
What about if I go to Kentucky Fried Chicken in West Plains? Is that not a dead chicken?
Well, it's frozen stuff that they bring in. You can do that. But so you have to transport the birds across the state line. They have to be slaughtered in a USDA facility in Arkansas in order to be sold fresh in Arkansas. That's just how the laws work. I mean, you thought we were one country. We're a series of little bitty countries. Yeah. and it's just the way that the laws are. So the family brings the birds down. They have a USDA facility here in Arkansas that they use, and then we get the fresh birds the next morning. So our next delivery, we've already had one delivery, sold out right away. Our next delivery will be May 27th, next week, Wednesday. The holidays pushed us back a day, so we'll be there on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. But they'll be in the store probably around 8 o'clock.
Don't you know those are some good tasting chickens?
I tell everybody this. If this doesn't remind you of what chicken was when you were a kid, you remember my mother. She really did this. We lived on a farm. My mother would cook fried chicken on Sundays.
Yep.
And sometimes we'd have some folks over, and it was the Sunday thing.
Yeah.
And over the years, the chicken has changed dramatically as tastes have driven people towards wanting more white meat and different, bigger breast meat pieces and that sort of thing. Until now, it's that bird is those production birds that you see in these big row houses. It's just a whole different chicken. For example, in the 70s or late 60s to 70s, even through the 70s, a typical chicken would weigh about 3.5 or 4 pounds, and that's typically what these free-range birds will weigh. And they look like chickens. Now, a chicken can come out of one of these processing places at 9 pounds.
3 times the normal.
Well, think about that for a second. The thing can't even stand up on its own legs. It's just too top heavy. You just literally can't stand up. Well, something causes that to happen. It's something in the feed. It's something in the way they're bringing these birds to market in 90 days or however it is that they do it. But things have changed dramatically in that food source. So I tell everybody this. If this isn't the chicken that reminds you of your childhood, if this isn't the best chicken you've had in years, you can just come in the store and slap my face and call me Louie. I'm telling you, it is a magnificent product.
Yeah.
You'll get stock out of it. You get gravies that just are unbelievable. While it's cooking, you're going to drive your family crazy. It's that good. It's just that good. These whole chickens will be in the store Wednesday morning, the 27th, Wednesday after Memorial Day next week, and you just really need to try them. It's absolutely a different way of eating that you just have to try. Ruth Ann and I had one the other day, and it's a dinner where you sit there and think, man, this is different. You just sit there and you think, this is just different. It's so much better than what we typically get, what we're used to now through the production methods that we use in the United States anymore. So if you're interested in a classic meal that is of a quality that you just can't get anywhere else, you need to come into Nature's Way next week, Wednesday. Get you one of these free-range Peace Valley chickens. They'll be 3.5 to 4.5 pound chickens, and take it home and try it. Get one fresh and just have it.
Yeah,
Just have
do
it.
that. That
Just
sounds
have
good.
it. Just have it.
Okay, what's the difference with a Peace Valley chicken now is what we did on the farm 100 years ago?
Nothing. That's the thing. When you look at how what we did 100 years ago is you had chickens for eggs. And those of us that are fortunate, those that are fortunate enough to still have chickens, use them for the eggs. Chicken quits laying. What do you do?
Wring its neck and pluck it and fry it. Yeah.
Right. That's what we're talking about. Those birds would run around eating bugs and insects and foraging around for food, and that was the way. That's the way God intended it. I mean, they were. Mm-hmm. That's, we herded them up, and
that's how it is.
That's just the way it was. Well, this is exactly how that family treats those chickens. Now, they've improved the processes, as you would think, with technology, et cetera. But what they don't do is they don't cage them up in a row house where there's thousands of them, and feed them genetically modified foods that cause them to balloon up in weight in a crazy manner. Mm-hmm. Pump them full of antibiotics, shoot them full of hormones. That's hormone issues, another thing that happens, and create kind of a monster that really wasn't ever meant to be, just to satisfy
the
demand
chicken.
For chicken every day, in the grocery store. So if you're always welcome to go up to the farm. You can check their website out, Peace Valley Chickens.
You've been up there?
I have not. It's a little drive up there.
Yeah, it's not bad. I used to take that way, go through Peace Valley when I go to Van Buren over at Big Springs, but the other highways have opened up so well, I don't have to do that. But
right.
I'll never forget going through Peace Valley one time. Some of the most beautiful farms I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
I love just, and I even slow down, just enjoy the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
The long rolling hills, beautiful. Green fields. Just
well-kept farms.
Man, it's just beautiful up
right.
there. I think it's on Highway 17.
The way, 19...
Is it
1980, I want to say. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. I don't remember the exact road that they're on now, but you have to see it. This is a family of people who work very hard every day to make sure that their animals and the foods that they're growing are done as naturally and as cleanly and as properly as possible. So you really need to get in there and see them. Okay.
Avoid the Frankenstein chicken. Go to Nature's Way and get a piece.
Check out Nature's Way for these. They will sell out quickly.
And that's on the 27th, next Wednesday.
That'll be next Wednesday on the 27th. This is a GMO-free bird, antibiotic and hormone-free. It's the way chicken was meant to be.
There you go.
Well,
quick minute.
Okay, I got a minute left. Good. Well, I told you to get in for Neighbor's Mill. We've got some things that will be coming up. I'm hopeful people will get on our website and watch our events page as we develop it over the next months. But we just finished a series of trail walks with Jake Anderson, our manager at the store. Jake has a master's in exercise science and is a guy you should come and see if you're starting an exercise regimen. But
sure.
I got out onto some trails and we had a great time. I expect we'll be repeating that next spring. As Jake introduces people to the trails, the beautiful trails around here in Mountain Home, gets people a little bit of exercise. But I will encourage anybody, especially seniors, if you're thinking about starting an exercise regimen or you're concerned about what you're doing with your exercise regimen, stop by Nature's Way and meet Jake Anderson, and he'll be happy to talk to you about it.
Visiting with Jack Clayton of Nature's Way. Stick around. We've got more coming up with Jack right after the news. Be right back. 7:35 on this third Thursday. We're starting a new program now with Jack Clayton. Third Thursday with Nature's Way. Every third Thursday we'll be featuring something at 7:30. And Jack, it's all yours.
Third Thursday of the month, every month, we'll be on. Third Thursday with Nature's Way, and it will be a forum where we will talk about the trends in natural health. We'll be discussing over time some different features of natural health and things that you should know about as consumers, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. I'd also like to encourage folks that are interested in this, if you have any questions you'd like me to cover on air, send an email to natureswaymh@gmail.com and put down on the corner in the subject line, and we'll discuss those on the air at our next meeting, which will be next month, the third Thursday, and I'm not sure the date. 18th, I think it is.
Yes.
Is it
18th?
18th, okay. So next month on the 18th, I'll be back, and we'll discuss some of those questions that you have. Because people get them all the time. We get them all the time.
And even in future shows, if we want, we can have people call and ask.
We can do that as well. I'll be happy to take calls on subjects, and as we work through today's little menu here, you'll know what we're going to talk about next month, and if you have specific questions, don't hesitate to email me. I'm not going to use any names. I'm not going to mention who's writing or anything like that. It'll all be confidential as far as that's concerned. But if it's a question you'd like discussed on the air, please feel free to send me an email at natureswaymh, natureswaymh at gmail.com, and put down on the corner in the subject line, and I will be happy to address those issues. This will be a series of programs. We're going to do this for a year, and so we have lots of opportunity to talk about different things. In addition to the topics that we have, if you have a topic you'd like me to cover, also send me an email at natureswaymh@gmail.com with down on the corner in the subject line, and I'll see if I can work it into the mix. So let's begin by giving a little bit of background.
Okay.
I'm not your doctor. I'm not trying to be your doctor. That's not the purpose of this particular program. I've been in the natural foods business now for 15 years. We have learned a lot about what is helpful, what is true, what is not true, and I'm going to try to share some of that information over time. My job will be to inform you about natural products. When you come in the store, if you do, we're going to go through a questioning process on issues to make sure that the things that you choose, the things that you do, will keep you safe. And that's the first thing that we have to think about. What is it that's safe for people to use? And how can they incorporate natural products into their lifestyles? I'd like to throw in a plug for Ruth Ann at this particular point. Now, next Tuesday, her regular article in the Baxter Bulletin will be out, and it's an article called a column called "The Dietitian's Corner." She's going to be talking in this next one about nutritional deficiencies based on diet and the way we're eating, and I think you'll find some interesting information on that, and it'll tie into some of the things I'm going to talk a little bit later about this morning. So let's start with some background just on the natural foods industry, because I want to try to get this across. Natural products actually have been around for a long time. Typically in the United States, a natural product is one that has been in use historically well before 1994. And here's the reason I say that. In 1994, a senator from Utah named Orrin Hatch, you might be familiar with him, and a senator from Iowa got together and worked through a bill in Congress called the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act. And that's what opened the doors to consumers for natural products across the board. There's a common misconception that natural products aren't regulated, that it's just a kind of a wide open, Wild West sort of thing. And to be honest with you, advertising and some things on the internet and the way people approach some of these products, I could see how people could believe that. But the truth is that the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, or DSHEA as we call it, rather tightly controls what can be put on the market as a natural product. The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, and the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, both have regulatory powers over our business, and they should for a number of reasons. The idea here is to try to make sure that the products that are on the market are ones that have a history of efficaciousness or value, and that have a history of generally safe use. Now, let me just give you an aside right here, and this is part of my job with this program. Natural doesn't mean safe. Natural means natural. And I think that part of the misconception people have about these products is that, well, I can just go get anything that I want, and that's just not true. When you come into Nature's Way or when you talk to me, we're going to make sure that what you're doing with your doctor doesn't interfere with what you're trying to do over the counter. And there are some clear contraindications in some cases. Well, the advertising, the FTC tries to control that part of the business, and the FDA tries to control the part of the business about what products are actually on the market. And this actually started back with B12 back in the 80s. There was a doctor that was just kind of giving away B12 to people, and it was fundamentally at that point illegal. And we kind of swooped in on him and closed him down and took all these files, and that created an uproar that eventually led to Senator Hatch and this other senator getting together on this program. And Senator Hatch had been using some things that had helped his family. He had some medical issues in his family, and that's what got him interested in it. So the DSHEA, or Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, opened up the doors for these natural products. To show you how they work, let me give you an example. In the earlier part of this century, gosh, I almost hate to say that. In the earlier part of this century, I guess this would have been 2002, 3, and 4, somewhere in there. There was a fella on television. His name was Barefoot, Dr. Barefoot. And he and another fella named Kevin Trudeau were doing infomercials late at night about a product called Coral Calcium. And Coral Calcium got real popular because of that. Well, these infomercials are expensive, and therein lies the rub. I mean, they had to support themselves somehow, and it was unfortunate because coral minerals are actually, at their base, a wonderful product. There's real value in them. But what these guys did in order to support themselves, and Barefoot had a company. He was selling coral minerals as Coral Calcium, and he called it Coral Calcium because calcium is the largest mineral in nature. And so if you looked at a regular, just general mineral spectrum, one of the biggest pieces, the biggest piece of it would be calcium. Well, so he called it Coral Calcium, but in reality, the real truth is it's coral minerals. It's a whole mineral spectrum. That's what really makes it a wonderful product. I like it. I still use it because it's a terrific product. But what he did in order to support himself, and this is where the FTC got caught up in it, and the FDA both, is he began to stretch the data. Now, this happens all the time, and we're still seeing it now. I'll come back to that in just a second. But he began to stretch the data in order to make his infomercials more compelling, more interesting. Finally, when he got to the point about coral minerals would help you, Coral Calcium he called it, it would help you grow a new brain. Well, that's when the government's, that's when the federal FDA stepped in and the FTC stepped in and essentially shut him down.
Yeah.
Now, the purpose of that was to try to prevent people from having false expectations about a product. The problem is that it's not the medium, it's not television, it's not radio, it's not the newspaper's responsibility to police this. It's the FDA and the FTC's responsibility to police it. Well, you can imagine how many outlets we have on the internet now, and are in publication just to send out information to people, and it's how massively difficult it is to keep control of all of that. The purpose of my program will be to talk about things in real terms. What is the reality of different products? What is good about this, and what do we know about it that's real? Because of the nature of people like this infomercial thing, when that happened, and some others that have happened since then, I think people get false expectations, and as a result, they believe what they want to believe. They believe what they think they heard. And if you look at this advertising nowadays, and if you read the things that, and I'll bet you some of our listeners right now, if you looked around the house, you'd have somewhere in the house, you'd have a mailer that you'd gotten about some magic product that's going to change your eyesight, or is going to cure your heartburn, or is going to change your life as far as your blood pressure is concerned, or is going to make your memory suddenly be restored, things like that. And if you look very, very carefully at those words that they use in there, there's a lot of this may work. and the science is broken down into something that the government does allow called a testimonial. Mm-hmm. Joe in Philadelphia says he cured his psoriatic arthritis with this particular product, or whatever that it is. You'll see a lot of exclamation points. You'll see a lot of bold letters. You'll see words like magic and miracle and things like that. And there's where people get caught up in bad information.
We actually believe that stuff
every day.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if you're ill, if something's wrong with you, you begin to work hard at trying to figure out what you're going to do about that. Well, the natural products industry is established to try to work with whatever pathway that you have chosen for yourself. The properly run health food store, like Nature's Way, isn't going to say you shouldn't be taking these medications or you shouldn't be doing that. That's not our job. Our job is to keep you safe and give you information, and that's what this program is going to do. And that comes back to the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, which says that we're not going to try to treat, cure, or prevent disease with these products. We say that, and that's a legal disclaimer. So that's what we'll be doing. That's a little bit of the background. So we do have very tight regulations and rules that we have to follow. So some of the answers to the questions that I get from people and the things that I'll be covering are going to fall into that category. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you as we go along where we have science and where we have anecdotal evidence and so on and so forth, and in things that we do. But I would encourage people to get onto to read Ruth Ann's article this next week, because it's a two-part article. It'll be this month and next month about nutritional deficiencies in diet and where vitamins fall into that category.
Well, we'll go ahead and take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll do that more with Nature's Way, Third Thursday. Jack Clayton right after this.
Okay.
7:52, more Third Thursday with Nature's Way. Jack Clayton.
Thank you. We've been talking a little bit about the natural products industry and how it's regulated and the rules that we have around it. We talked a little bit about advertising and so on. When I started in the business some years ago, it was grocery store magazines that was kind of driving people's attention. Now it's television, doctors, and the internet. And the internet is kind of a rabbit hole of information. You have to be really careful with that. I expect over time we'll be probably addressing some of those issues. I wanted to spend this last few minutes. We got 7 or 8 minutes here to talk about.
Actually, 3 this time.
Okay,
we're going to work on this. We're going to give you more time.
We're
going to have plenty of time next time.
We're learning. There's 5 basic things that are kind of basic as far as supplementation is concerned. Not everyone should use all 5 of these because there's some rules and things that can change for you. But I want to leave people today with these 5 basics. I'm talk briefly about each one as we come back after this next break. But the 5 basics are multivitamins, CoQ10, magnesium, omega-3, and fiber. And why? Why would those be considered basic supplementation? Well, because that is the core of good health for most people. Now, a female who's menopausal or has had a hysterectomy and is now leaching calcium from her bones because of hormonal issues and winds up with osteopenia or osteoporosis may be told by her doctor that she needs to take extra vitamin D or she needs to take extra calcium, and you have to you'd add that in to your basic program. But I don't encourage people to get onto a lot of different products. I encourage people to work from these basics and then move forward from there based on what your needs are. Multivitamins, pretty straightforward. Read Ruth Ann's article, you'll see. You'll read why that's happening in the United States these days. But even the federal government suggests that you take a multivitamin now. What does that tell you about the food chain? And at the end of the day, a multivitamin will round out your diet. I take a multivitamin every day, and I use it for some kind of specific reasons. And one of our programs in the future will be talking specifically about multivitamins. And you're taking the Once Daily High Energy, which is actually one of our most popular multivitamins, and I like that product a lot. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's timed release, and it doesn't dump all of that into your system at one time. It's not expensive. That bottle there will last you 2 months. It's a great product, and to be honest with you, it's actually one of our best sellers, and we talk about it a lot when people come in the store.
I hate to tell you, it's done in 49 seconds.
Well, okay. We'll get our. This is a work in progress. That's quite all right. We will certainly make this work properly.
I've enjoyed every minute.
CoQ10, I'll come back after the break, talk about that just briefly, and a couple of these others, but CoQ10 I think is extremely important to people, and there's some very specific reasons for it.
Well, would you believe we're at the end of the show?
Oh, are we really?
It's 7:55. Can you believe that?
Oh, no.
So here's what we're going to do. Mark your calendar for June 18th.
June 18th, I'll be back.
7 to 8. We're going to do 7 to 8 next time. You run out of time. I mean, we got to have more time. This is too good. I enjoy having you here. I wish we did it more, but...
Yeah, my mic. There's my mic on.
We'll work on the timing, and we'll get this information down. Next month, can I just prompt what we're going to do next month? Have I got 30 seconds to do that?
Yeah, real quick.
I'm going to talk about men's health.
Good.
And, we always talk about women's health. I think women's health gets a lot of attention because it's important. We talk about men's health, specifically prostate health. And so if you have any questions about it, send it to natureswaymh@gmail.com. Tag the subject line with down on the corner about prostate. All right?
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.